Hi, this is Mr. Epp. In this video we're going to look at the place value strategy for multiplication. So let's choose a couple numbers that we want to multiply together. Let's use 23 times 56. Now in order to use this strategy you have to at this point know a few of your basic facts and be able to use some strategies to solve single digit multiplication problems like 6 times 3 or 5 times 2. To begin this strategy, we first write down the numbers as we would if we were doing the traditional algorithm for multiplication. So we write down 23 times 56 stacked vertically. What I really like about this strategy is that it helps kids learn what's actually going on when you multiply large numbers together. When we use the traditional algorithm for multiplication, we really just learn a series of steps, but we don't understand what's happening in those steps. So this strategy kind of breaks it down so that you can really see what's going on. And I'll show you how. So in order to do this, you are going to look at each individual digit and multiply them together. What's important to remember is that this is the ones column and this is the tens column. So there's a really big emphasis on place value, hence it being called the place value strategy. So first I'm going to think of 6 times 3. Now I've mastered my multiplication facts, so I know that 6 times 3 is 18. Good. Next I'm going to be looking at the 6 times the 2, but remember this 2 is actually not 2, it's 20, it's 2 tens. So I'm going to think of 6 times 20. Now if that's difficult for you, you can think of 6 times 2, which equals 12. And then to really figure out 6 times 20, you're basically just adding another 0 on, right? So 6 times 20 is 120. I'm going to write that down as well. Good, so I'm done with this 6 here. Now I'm moving on to this 5, or 5 tens, which is 50. So I'm going to think of 50 times 3. Again, if that's difficult for you, you can think of 5 times 3 is 15. So 50 times 3 is 150. You can kind of notice that for each 0 I add in the multiplication problem, I'm really just adding a 0 onto the answer. So I write 150 down here. And then finally I'm on to my 50 times my 20. Again, I can think of 5 times 2, which is 10, and then just change it to 50 times 20. Again, I've got 2 extra zeros, so really I'm just adding 2 extra zeros onto that original answer. So that gets me to 1,000. Now all this stuff I wrote here on the side, you wouldn't really need to write this down if you didn't need to. I just wrote down to show you what I'm doing in my head when I'm multiplying numbers together. As you get better at multiplying numbers that have zeros in them, numbers that are into the tens and the hundreds, you'll be able to do this in your head and you won't need to write all this down. Anyways, our final step is basically just to add all of the parts together. So I'm first going to add my ones column. 8 plus all those zeros equals 8. 1 plus 2 plus 5 I know also equals 8. 1 plus 1 plus 0 equals 2. And 1 by itself is 1. And there's our answer, 1,288. And that is how we use the place value strategy for multiplication.